Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the Centennial Lecture Series, UP A View from Inside. This afternoon's lecture is titled, Is UP a Cause or Consequence of the Country's Weak Industry? Today marks the 28th lecture in the year-long Centennial Lecture Series that feature renowned international and local personalities of the academe, government, and industry. All lectures will be beamed live to UP Manila, UP Los Baños, UP Visayas in Miagao, Cebu, and Tacloban, UP Mindanao, UP Baguio, and UP Open University. This is also webcast through the internet for wider coverage. Audience from all over the world may send in their questions. Before we begin, may I just repeat the request to please turn off all mobile phones. Thank you for your cooperation. Kindly rise for the Philippine National Anthem.
Bayang magiliw, pero sa silanganan, alam ng puso, sa titik mo'y buhay. Lupang hinirang, tuyat halang magiting, sa manlulupig, kita masisigil, sa dagat at bundok, sa simoy at sa langit mong kapag, may nilatang tula at awit sa paglayang pinamahan. Ang isang lang watawat mo'y tagumpay na nagdiligil, ang bituin at araw niya kailan pa may magdiligil. Lupa ng araw ng walo aming konsekta, mayayagin sa dilig mo. Aming ligaya na pagkay mamapit, ang namatay ng dahil sa'yo.
Today, we hold another important event to celebrate UP's centennial. I think most of you are aware that we have lined up a series of events to mark this important milestone in the life of UP. We are organizing celebration activities, fundraising activities, and activities to promote or project UP to the outside world. But the centerpiece of UP Centennial celebration is actually the UP Centennial Lecture Series. After all, UP is an academic institution, and because it is, a good part of commemorating its birthday is to get scholars, experts, and distinguished individuals to share with us their thoughts on UP or their views on burning issues of the day. 4 categories make up the lecture series. One set of lectures will be delivered by insiders. They will present to us their views on UP, its successes and achievements, its faults and shortcomings. From them, we will get the view from inside. Another set will be delivered by those who are not part of our community, but who we believe take an interest in our university. They will share with us their insights on our vision, our mission, as they are perceived by the larger community. From them, we will get the view from outside. The third set of lectures will be by experts, both from UP and from other institutions, who will talk about national and global issues such as global warming, poverty alleviation, indigenous peoples, state of Philippine education, status of women, peace and conflict resolution, etc. And finally, for the 4th category, we will feature distinguished individuals who, through their life work, have attained great distinction in their respective fields. As an institution tasked not just with producing new knowledge and disseminating existing knowledge, but also with the shaping of the minds of a future generation of leaders, we felt it was important for us to have this lecture series and provide our faculty and students with the opportunity to listen to what our scholars, experts, and invited guests have to say. Today, we present to you one of our very own to guide us through a process of self-assessment, to give us a view from inside. I wish to thank our speaker for sharing this day with us, and to all of you who are here, we are grateful for your presence here today.
To introduce this afternoon's distinguished lecturer, may I call on our Professor of Physics and Dean of the UP College of Science, Dr. Cesar A. Saloma.
Officials of the university, faculty members, research and administrative personnel, students, colleagues, friends, ladies and gentlemen, good afternoon. I am happy to introduce to you our centennial speaker this afternoon, Professor Jose A. Magpantay of the National Institute of Physics, College of Science, UP Diliman. Professor Magpantay obtained his BS and MS degrees in physics from the then Department of Physics, College of Arts and Sciences, UP Diliman in 1972 and 1975, respectively. He proceeded to earn a PhD degree in theoretical high-energy physics from Purdue University in 1980 and then spent 2 years as a postdoctoral fellow of the International Center for Theoretical Physics in Trieste, Italy. He reported back to regular teaching duties at the Department of Physics in the last quarter of 1982. Professor Magpantay was also an Alexander von Humboldt Fellow in 1986 to 1987 and a visiting scientist of the Japan Society for the Promotion of Science on a number of occasions in the 1980s and early 1990s. The Department of Physics became the National Institute of Physics in 1983, and Professor Magpantay became the second director of the Institute in April 1987 and continued to serve the post until December 1992. My first additional administrative assignment in the university was to assist as his assistant director for facilities and resources in May 1990. For most of the 1980s, the PhD faculty members in the National Institute of Physics were all theorists. But some of them, notably Professor Roger Posadas, who was the first Dean of the College of Science, and Professor Christopher Bernido, the first Director of the National Institute of Physics, wisely spearheaded the establishment of 2 additional experimental research groups in laser physics and instrumentation physics. The formation of the 4th research group, the Condensed Matter Physics Group, was made possible by the determined effort of Professor Magpantay, who was inspired by the celebrated discovery of high-temperature superconductivity in ceramic materials by George Bidnors and Alexander Mueller of IBM Zurich Research Laboratory between 1983 and 1986. His excitement was further kindled when told of Dr. Amador Moriel's epiphany while attending a standing room-only press conference held by Bidnors and Mueller. Dr. Wilson Garcia, Dr. Roland Sarmago, and I were with Professor Magpantay in the Advanced Physics Laboratory of the National Institute of Physics when it was decided right then and there, that NIP would start cooking or baking ceramic superconductors. At present, research in photonics, condensed matter, plasma physics, computational physics, and complexity science are thriving, and there is now a second generation of theorists working in the National Institute of Physics. That such progress could ever happen despite the comparatively unfavorable socioeconomic conditions is to a large extent due to Professor Magpantay's genuine passion and love of physics, be it theory, experimental, or applied. His enthusiasm on the potential of new technologies is admirable and infectious to others. I have found Professor Magpantay to be a well-meaning person who is always forthright with his opinions and viewpoints. On several occasions while assisting him in the office of the NIP director, he and I would argue ardently behind closed doors on how to get things done at the Institute. I was never reluctant to speak my mind to him because I know that he would listen even if he did not agree with my ideas. It did not matter to him who would win as long as we would end up with the best possible solution. For that wonderful experience, I am thankful to Professor Magpantay. Thank you very much.
Okay, thank you, Cesar. A very generous introduction. I hope I deserve it. Okay, I'm supposed to talk about is UP a cause or consequence of the country's weak industry? A topic that I'm very interested in since I came here in the university. Okay. Centennial lectures from the insider perspective are intended to assess the university's performance in the past 100 years with a critical eye. I took this mandate seriously and proposed early on that our group be called Cynics and Skeptics Incorporated, or CSI, which of course was rightly ignored by my colleagues. Half jokingly though, I wanted to emphasize that insiders tasked to analyze the university while celebrating its milestone would need a healthy dose of both cynicism and skepticism. Today I would like to revisit an issue that first interested me when I was a physics major. Trapped in UP Diliman during the Diliman Commune and mentored by activist comrades and political officers sa samahan ng mga bayan scientifico, there's Roger Posadas, I learned of the three ills that plague the country: imperialism, feudalism, and bureaucrat capitalism. The root causes, I was told, of our failure to industrialize, the origin of our economic underdevelopment, and our social ills. Even as a student, I was aware of the physics program, that the physics program then was not very good, although it was seen to be the best in the country. Physics had no research laboratories, no PhD program, and the only science I heard in class was that found in textbooks. Now, 38 years after the Diliman Commune, and with more than 25 years of teaching experience by pocket, two issues concern me. Why, for the most part of our first century, the university science and technology programs languished in a derelict state, and why our country, reputed to be the second strongest economy in Asia in the 1950s, has been surpassed by many neighbors. Since UP claims to be the best in the country, the training ground for our leaders and the source of our nation's economic planners, I also would like to examine the accountability of UP, if any, in the country's failure to develop industry. I ask then, is UP a cause or consequence of the country's weak industry?